Hello, good morning, and welcome to this taste challenge, a late morning taste challenge. We have two Caribbean dark rums. This one is not too dark, it's gold. It's Don Q Gold, introduced 1865, aged 1.5 to 5 years, meaning it's a blend of rums as old as 5 years, and young as 1.5. So 1.5 to 5 year blend. Okay, produced by Destilería Serrallés in Puerto Rico. It's been on the U.S. market since 2006. Not too widely distributed, but a little bit around here. The competitor is Cruzan Estate Diamond Black Strap Rum, part of their distillers collection. No age statement, but this is very dark rum. As they call it, blackstrap molasses. They use the darkest type of molasses available. It is produced in the United States Virgin Islands by Cruzan International. And they're showing the estate with the mountains. Crafted by the Nelthrop family in St. Croix, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Gary Nelthrop, master distiller. Now, that family did not start Cruzan, but Cruzan was started in 1760. But they've been running the distillery since around 1810. 1810. Oak notes with complements of molasses expertly aged on our home island of St. Croix. Heavy dark aroma, slight sweetness with notes of caramel, perfect in cocktails. Distilled, aged, and blended by Cruzan International, U.S. Virgin Islands. I paid a price that seemed unusually low. About 2 or 3 days later, a week later, maybe a week, time flies. I checked and the price went up considerably. It was $8. Okay, well, first we'll get to the Don Q runs about $20.99 a bottle, but I got it at Dormax for $13.99. $13.99 for this huge handle bottle. What a deal! What a deal! The greatest deal. This is running $18.99. Not bad for Blackstrap Molasses, the Distillers Collection. Clear glass embossed with the Cruzan crest. Nice deal, nice deal. $18.99. But when I went to Total Wine, they had it for $8.99. I saw that and I was like, $8.99? It's the same price as the regular Cruzan. I know this is the Estate Diamond collection. But it rang up, but now they're running at $18.99. Either that was a special or they screwed up their coding. I don't know. If you ask the checkout people, they're like, well, that's what it rings up to. So I'm not gonna argue with them, especially if it's lower price. But even if it's higher price, sometimes no use arguing. Every time I go to Circle K, I'll give you an example. At Circle K, they had Dogfish had 90-minute IPA. Great product, right? 9% alcohol. A little much for an IPA, but 9%. Great product. I'll go over there. It says $2.59 for a stovepipe can. $2.59. I said, that's a good price this day and age for Dogfish Head 90-minute. Not the 60-minute, the 90-minute, the Imperial. I said, watch what's going to happen. I'm saying this to myself. Watch what's going to happen. So I go up to the girl at the register, the cashier. I said, can you price check this because the sales tags usually don't match. So she rings it up. Oh yeah, $3.19. 60-cent difference. I said, that's a considerable difference. I said, I'm not going to buy it. It's not really that good of a deal. And it's not, considering I can get a whole 6-pack of it for like, I don't know. I don't remember. A good price over there at Cash Saver, which opened up yesterday. So reopened after the hurricane after 14 months. It used to be called Food for Less, but they renamed it Cash Saver. But I was like, it's the same old story every time. You check prices, you look at the tags, and they don't ring up right. Then I went to Exxon Mobil Esso. It's Exxon, but then the pumps say Exxon Mobil Esso. I guess they take all three cars. It's the same company. So across the highway. So I go over there. They got at the top shelf, Monaco cocktails. I said, boy, look at this. They're a craft cocktail. Well, they got a craft division too, but it's just canned cocktails made with real tequila or gin or rum or in this case, cognac, the 2 of those cans. So it's 2 cans for $5, 12-ounce cans, 9%, all of them 9% knockouts. I said, well, that's the price it was before the JB inflation, 2 years ago. So I'm gonna buy 2 of the Grape Crush. It used to be called Cognac Crush. I don't know why they changed the name, but whatever. Then I bought two other new flavors, a watermelon and a cranberry, I think. Okay, I said, oh yeah, but it didn't ring up to $10. It rang up to $4. So instead of being $2.50 a can, it was $2. Well, in that case, the mistake benefited me. But you see, that's like all the time. It's like all the time. The tags do not match what's on file on their computer, on their computer inventory. It runs you crazy. Now, if you go to Total Wine, it'll always match up. If you go to Walmart, it'll usually match up, but a lot of times it'll be off a few cents. Usually cheaper than the tag. Like, I don't understand Walmart. It'll say like $12.99 for the bottle. Then you ring it up and it's $12.85. It's like, well, why is there a 14-cent screw up here? All right. Okay. Let's just tap the glasses. And I'm going to say this is the Blackstrap Molasses. Ain't no way that's Don Q, and I'm not going to get it wrong. And I'm going to be that presumptuous. I'm going to do it on aroma only. That's the Blackstrap. Ding, 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 ding. There we go. Impossible to get that wrong. You say, well, what kind of challenge is that? I mean, who in the world on earth is going to confuse Blackstrap Molasses rum with regular gold rum? I wouldn't know. I don't know who would. Maybe someone who's never tasted rum. But even if that was the case, why would they screw it up? Because so obviously dark and roasted. Good morning, Ronald, and everyone, says Michael Hill. Good morning to you. So for what it's worth, we'll do the taste challenge. The aroma is extremely heavy nose, dark molasses, strong molasses. That's the word, strong molasses. I love blackstrap molasses. I love dark beer, anything intense like that. It's like intensities in 10 cities. So. Oh yeah, and the oak barrels. Oh yeah, like Myers' rum. You want to try a good one? Get Myers'. And now they got their single barrel. Oh yeah. I don't even think there's a bonded version. Sazerac's going buck wild with Myers now. They do that. Sazerac is creative. Then get the Bacardi Black. Yeah. It used to be called Bacardi Supreme, but now I call it Bacardi Black. Yeah. Mine's gone, but we kill that off. My daughter was like, oh man, this is so good. It was woody, and that Myers is gone too. But you just can't, if you get Myers's black rum, but you just can't handle it, you got to drink it all. Now I'm saying not overnight, but it won't last too many months. They have Gosling's Red Seal, which is black from bottled in Hamilton, the capital town of the Bermuda Islands. I don't think it's made there because the way they talk about it on the website, it's like, you don't really make it here, do you? Because you're being cagey about it. But I don't really care because if it's good, It smells nice, mild, gold, medium level molasses, but it smells good. Jean H. Pierre. Oh, y'all, guess what? The beverage ramble is here. Good morning to you, Jean Pierre. He says, good morning, Jay. Jean would like this one because it's dark. He likes these brown spirits, and this one's nearly a black spirit. He might feel a little, he might go for this because it's gold and it's not clear, but if he saw the the Don Q silver, the crystal, he'd say, "Oh no, not for Jean. This is not for Jean." This tastes like some food product. Oh yeah, I know what it tastes like. Maple syrup. But really, like, the ones that use a little bit of maple syrup, it'll be like 10% maple syrup and 90% corn syrup and maybe a little cane syrup. Like, like log cabin, a blended. But it tastes like that. Now, you might say, why would I ever want to drink a rum that tastes like log cabin syrup? What I'm eating pancakes? I'm eating waffles. If you had a creative way of thinking, if you were a creative person, think along the lines of pancakes or waffles or beignets and the black strap molasses rum, man, and the powdered sugar and the good times. I mean, I guess I'd rather have the syrup, but you could get creative, you could really get creative. The Don Q Gold. Oh, that's a nice one. And I got it wrong this morning. I felt so bad. I was doing Don Q against Cruzan. Cruzan, what was that? Oh, the Gold, the regular, the age dark. So I'm thinking, like, I'm doing the review and I'm thinking, oh, the Cruzan is a little bit better. It costs a little less, but it tastes a little bit better. Well, it turns out Don Q cost a little bit more and it tasted a little bit better. I had them mixed up, so I felt played, But these don't taste alike at all, actually. What do they have in common? Well, they're both 80 proof. They're both from the West Indies. And they're both from American controlled islands in the West Indies, the U.S. Virgin Islands, a United States territory. Oh, pointing at the wrong one. And Puerto Rico, a United States Commonwealth, meaning semi-independent country. Not independent, but semi-independent. Like, say, Bermuda, the Bermuda Islands. They're a British overseas territory, but they have their own legislature, their own assembly, people that make their own laws. They make laws for the country, and they have their own governor, their own premier, the guy or gal who runs the day-to-day operations of the government, kind of like a manager, I mean, they got the British government over there in London, but they don't too much tell them what to do as long as they're not being like totally out of control, corrupt. Like that happened in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Self-governing colony, or what they call today, they don't like to use the word colony. They call it an overseas territory, which is the same thing as a colony. But they had to take over control of the government because they said this government is basically like the mafia. The Turks and Caicos Islands, the premier and the legislature was so corrupt, and there was so much evidence of, embezzlement, money laundering, influence peddling. It was like, well, we're not going to let the mafia run the Turks and Caicos Islands. So they said, we're going to take control of the government and run it directly from London. And the governor that we appoint is going to answer to us. Like basically, your assembly doesn't need to meet at the current time because nothing they decide is going to be considered. So I think maybe by now, that was about 6 years ago. Maybe by now they returned control back to the people because it was just out of control. And it was all kind of talk about it in the paper. But they did the same thing to Northern Ireland in 1973. They said, well, we're going to take direct control of your government because there's too many problems. But then they turned it back over to them to an extent about 10 years ago. All right. Oh yeah, this stuff is just syrup, pancake syrup. Craft Beer Tastic says, I read something that I read somewhere, sorry, not something. I read somewhere that the British royal family are the largest landowners in the world. That's true. There's something called the Prince's Trust. Princess, not princess, Prince apostrophe S, Prince's Trust in London, in England, and it's a corporation that controls rent, rental properties. Well, it turns out they control 1/3 of all the rental property, according to a magazine I read. And Prince Charles was the owner. Of course, now his son, Prince William, is the new Prince of Wales. But they don't just control land in Wales. It's Wales, England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and people rent from this corporation. But the corporation is owned by the prince. So they were interviewing this farmer, say, what do you think about the Prince's Trust? How do you like renting land from the he said, oh, no, that's what the guy said. No. You're not going to hear me criticize old Charlie boy. He's I'm trying to keep this farm, so they were like reluctant to discuss it. And then apparently they own one of the biggest diamond mines in Africa, big diamond mine in South Africa. South Africa is a Commonwealth republic, part of the Commonwealth, was a Commonwealth realm at one time, but they didn't want to be associated with the Queen, because, well, that's a complicated story. The Dutch people in South Africa, half the whites were Dutch. They hated the British because they had taken their country over, and they were like, we don't even like these people. And it turns our stomach every time we got to pledge allegiance to the Queen, Of course, the English, the other half of the whites in South Africa were English. And they were like, we love the Queen. What's wrong with you, you Dutch farmers? Why don't you go till a crop? And then that caused so much controversy in South Africa because the Dutch wanted to divide the country up along racial lines and make new countries for every racial group. They wanted to make a white South Africa, and then they wanted to make each African tribe or ethnic group, they wanted to give them their own country. Apartness, they called it. Apartheid, apartness. Then the English who live down there say, oh, no, you're a racist. We're liberal. We want everybody to be one big, happy, multi-ethnic family where we're all in happiness with us in control. And the Dutch say, well, that's the way you want. That's the way you want to run it. That's not the way we want to run it. And we didn't even want you here, if you want to get technical. So that was a big controversy going back to 1961. But anyway, you say, what's that got to do with rum? I think they make rum in South Africa. All right. And it's tangentially related to the self-government story I was talking about. All right. So which one do I prefer? Well, I prefer both, meaning that they're so different one from another that it's kind of hard to say, well, I prefer this over that. Because like you might say, well, I like really sweet, sugary, pancake syrup type rum. There you go. It's not the only one they make. Myers is woodier. It's more like wood, oak. This one's more like the pancake syrup. And the Bacardi, if I recall correctly, is kind of in between these two. The price is about the same for all three, so just take your pick. I don't know about Gosling because I've never had Goslings. But you can get in trouble with this because it's so sugary sweet. It's like drinking like I don't know, like some kind of dessert drink. Like you might, I mean, I guess you would think it was made with alcohol, but if you get seasoned, like myself, like you get used to it. Like, I don't know. I just think it would just seem like almost like you could put it on vanilla ice cream. I don't know. It's really weird. But yeah, I like that kind of stuff. You might get sick of it after a while if you drink a lot of it. You get literally sick. like, bleh, because it's so sugary sweet. But I just think you get tired of it. But it's wonderful. It's definitely an A. An A, it's an A. We scored an A. This one over here, I don't know. I don't know why a person would complain about Don Q Gold. Uh, is it better than Bacardi Gold? Well, I don't know if it's better, but it's like $4 cheaper. So why would I buy Bacardi when I could save $4? Answer is I wouldn't. I like Bacardi. I'm not against Bacardi now. Don't get me wrong. I just wouldn't pay the extra money. You say, what about tequila? Would you pay less for something than you would for Cuervo Gold or Silver? I don't have any really experience with Cuervo Gold or Silver. I tried the Cuervo Silver. I liked it. Seemed a little cleaner than some of those other silvers I have, but I'd have to spend more time with it, but I mean, the other ones I have are considerably lower price, so I don't recall it being that much better. It's got the name recognition, #1 tequila in the world and all that, but I can't say I really run behind it. But we'll see. We're going to explore more. So what's coming up next? Don Q versus another Cruzan produced product. I don't think it used to be produced by Cruzan. I think it used to be from Puerto Rico, but the parent company collapsed. It's called Ron Rico. I know it's been on the market since 1860. This I know. It's older than Bacardi and it's older than Don Q. It's called Ron Rico. It's older than both of those. Back in the 1970s and 80s, some of you older guys might remember this. Ron Rico was about #2 behind Bacardi. They always had advertisements for Ron Rico, any men's magazine, GQ or Field and Stream or some other ones. They had Ron Rico advertisements. But you'll notice by the late 80s, you don't see any advertisements for them. That's because their parent company, Seagram's, was in a pretty serious collapse. But they were able to drag it out for like 15 years without totally going out of business. But it was like unreal. I read this article by one of the people that ran Seagram's. He was like, it was a disaster then, it's a disaster now. He's like, how could this man, like his cousin or uncle, destroy his company like this? It's like unreal, But once they hit the skids, you never saw Ron Rico advertisements. And in fact, Ron Rico went from like the second best-selling rum to now a bottom shelf rum that's just on the shelf. It's just on the shelf. I mean, yeah, Winn-Dixie has it. Walmart does not. Mathern's does not. Some places in New Orleans have it. But, like Bacardi, everybody has Bacardi, right? Like it literally every liquor store in Louisiana sells Bacardi. 40 years ago, every liquor store in Louisiana would sell Ron Rico. But I got a great deal on Ron Rico, and honestly, it's a pretty good product. But it's now made in the Virgin Islands by Cruzan. If you look at the bottle, it says made by Cruzan. I said, oh no, something changed, because that was a famous Puerto Rican rum. But I guess they figured, look, we got no money. Our distillery is shutting down, if it ever had their own distillery. They must have 1860. But whatever the case, like it's gone. It's over. You can keep the brand running. Like they got some old guy, 78 years old, that drinks Ron Rico. So just keep it going. We could drag this out for 25 more years, and then no young people are going to drink, and then we'll just discontinue it, or something like that. But I was able to find it, and I got the gold and the silver. And it was $9.99, like $9.99 a bottle. So I could have gotten it cheaper. But I didn't want to buy a handle, because I said, what if it's bad? I knew it wasn't going to be bad, but I said, well, I don't need 1,750 milliliters. Could have bought it though. But that's going to be the last one from Cruzan. It's, it's not part of Cruzan. It's just made by them. But and then we go on to some Sazerac. You say, oh no, not Sazerac. Oh yes, Sazerac. We got Skull Light Gold. Pretty good product. And then we've got Skull Ron Pontalba. Skull. Well, I drink too much of these. Sazerac's Ron Pontalba. Not really well known in Louisiana, but apparently really popular in Texas. I've had a number of Texas viewers tell me, oh Ron Pontalba, everybody drinks that. I said, not Louisiana, even though the headquarters isn't in Louisiana. All right, so that'll close out the goal. I think that's it. Yeah. That's got to be it. Yeah, that's it. And then so then we go to tequila, gold tequila. Not by design, just by the way it's working out. I got a super gold, but it's not gold tequila. It's more like black tequila, like this Cruzan. It's called Hornitos Black Barrel. Boy, you talk about a crazy product. Y'all gonna love this. I watched videos where some people hated it. Other people were like confused by it. Like, I don't know what to say about it. They couldn't figure it out. They were like, well, it's interesting. You know, they couldn't get over it. And when you hear what I paid for it, you're not going to get over that. That's going to be incredible. If anybody wants to see what I bought yesterday, let me know. I bought some stuff yesterday. Good morning, dog, says Grace Hinote. She says she's drinking New Belgium Voodoo Ranger Experimental IPA right now. I like that product. I was favorite, but they keep changing. You know, every few months they make a new hop blend, and that's the experimental part. But I tried the first, and then I tried the second, I tried the third, and I was like, they don't really taste different. It's like the same thing every time. So you could say you have an amateur palate. You can't discern the intricate nuances of the hops. Yeah, that's true, probably so. So I didn't keep buying it because I couldn't discern the intricate nuances of the hops. I wasn't against it. It tastes fine, but I didn't want to keep buying. Like, it was like the same. Let's see what you bought. Okay, this is what I bought. I'll show you one bottle. Maybe in 2 days I'll show you the next bottle. I bought this at Aldi. Finally, they brought something new. Holland 1839, brewed in Holland, the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Holland is one of the provinces of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. A province, like you say, like we would call states. Not really like a state. We would kind of like call it a county. It's, you know, about the size of a county more than a state. It's kind of like a county, really. The Netherlands is like a state. But this is Holland's 1839. I don't know what the year 1839 has to do with anything. I know it's from a company called Swinkels Brewery in the Netherlands, and they are family owned, and they say it like 20 times on their website. We're family owned. We're family owned. Guess what? We're only owned by one family. Only one family owns this brewery. Did you know that we're owned by only one family? And the 7th generation is in control, and they go on and on. I'm like, okay, we get it. You're owned by a family. I used to watch Dallas sometimes. Okay, anyway, not too much. So they produce a product for Aldi. Is it any good? Well, you know what? I tried this, and I bought a big can of it. Now this is interesting. I bought a can, a tall pint can in Florida City. It was right on the border between Florida City and Homestead, Florida. Like one side of the street was Florida City and the other side was Homestead. It might have been across the street, it was Homestead, but I think it was Florida City, but really that area down there along US Route 1. I was just walking around buying beer, and I bought some beer from Estonia, Latvia, all kind of crazy stuff. I bought doggone one of the most popular videos I ever made 99.9% of the viewers from the Philippines. Red Horse beer. Down there, just in a case. It was cheap. So I saw this Holland 1839, but it wasn't from Aldi. I did not buy it from Aldi, okay? So if you look at the video I made, I got to go back and look at that video. I did not buy it from Aldi. I just bought it from a convenience store. I say, well, I don't know what this is. It looked like some kind of Heineken knockoff, which apparently it is. But tasted pretty good to me. It wasn't like world class, but it was all right. $7.99 for a 6-pack, 11.2 ounce bottles. I guess that's okay. Was it better than Heineken? No. Was it worse? I don't really remember. It was a while ago. It was like 2012. But I saw that and I said, and then I started seeing this at Aldi. I was like, wait a minute. I told people, wait a minute. I bought that at a convenience store in Florida. It was not Aldi. So it's one of those products that's mainly at Aldi, but I don't think it's totally at Aldi. And when I looked at the trademark data, it did not say it was owned by Aldi. Let's see what you bought. Okay, Aldi is a German company who also owns Trader Joe's. That's correct. They bought Trader Joe's, I think, in 1979, a long time ago. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. Am I going to like that beer? Yeah, I probably like it. I don't say I'm going to adore it, but I probably like it. All right. Thanks, everybody. So much for the taste challenge. Wasn't much of a challenge, but it was interesting. It's fun. Y'all take care now.